But for the first one particularly, in box number 1, what is the first question they ask you? How many did she answer in the first hour? And again, people like to shoot out their infinite wisdom here, but for box number 1, you're going to do this in the first hour. You know, she answered half of the questions in the first hour. That's what it says in the book. So you need to find out what half of what is. How many questions were there? 120, right?
Yeah.
So you draw your little rectangle. What does that rectangle stand for? All the questions. And what are you doing to that rectangle? You're cutting it in half, which would mean you're just going to cut 120 in half. What is 120 cut in half? Maybe you can do that, Colton.
60.
Right. So then your answer is half of them. How many questions did she answer in the first hour? 60. So that's what box number 1 would look like. Already did all that work for you. Congratulations. How about number 2? Gives you some more other information. How many questions were true false? Well, what does the problem say? What fraction were true false? Somebody? Anybody going once, going twice? What fraction of the question? What?
1/3.
Yeah. So 1/3 of the questions were true false. How is your box going to look different this time? It's still going to be 120 questions, but you're looking for the fraction 1/3 there. If you take 120 and cut it into 3 equal pieces, each piece is 40, if you do the math. So this is what box number 2 would have. And how many questions were true false? 40. It's getting harder all the time, is it not? I should do all the problems for you all the time. You probably never get any wrong. Well, you probably get a few wrong. How many questions were fill in the blank? Well, what fraction of the questions were fill in the blank?
1/5.
1/5. So this time it's going to get a little harder. So you not want to know what 1/5 of the questions are. Still have our same rectangle that still stands for 120 questions, but this time I have to cut it into 5 pieces, which isn't quite stuff you probably can do in your head. What is 120 divided by 5? Looks to me like every question is 24. So how many questions would that be? 24 questions. For what? Fill in the blank? Is that what they were? Multiple choice. Number 4, how many questions were short answer? Well, what fraction were short answer?
1.
Oh boy, now we're cutting things into 8ths of the questions were short answers. Same rectangle, same 120 questions, except now I'm cutting it into 8ths. The easiest way to cut something in 8ths is cut it in half, and then cut that half in half, and then cut that half in half. What is 120 divided by 8? Oh man, look at that. Looks up nicely. Each box is then worth 15. And your answer 1/8 is 15. Number 5, how many questions were multiple choice? What fraction is multiple choice? What? Oh, the rest. How in the world am I going to figure out the rest? How?
By adding up all of the other questions.
Yeah, so what do we have here? We have 60, 40, and 24. 60, 40, 24,
15.
and 15. So I have now accounted for 139. Oh, wait a minute.
You got a minus.
We only had 120 questions to start with. What did I do wrong? Somebody tell me. This first number would not be part of it because that was half the question. That was just that she finished half of them in this. These are the only ones you need to add up because that was not part of the whole thing. So it's actually just 40, 24, and 15. 79. Did I get that right? 6, 7, 79. And I had 120 total problems, right? Take away the 79 I've already done. looks like I have 41 questions with the rest, which were something or other. How about for box number 6? Did multiple choice questions, which one did they ask us multiple choice? Question number 5. Did multiple choice questions make up more or less than 1/3? Well, we'd have to go back and look at our third. Where did we cut things into thirds? A third was 40. The rest of the questions were 41. So what's the answer to number 6? Did multiple choices make up more or less? More than. This math is hard. Number 7 says, together, did the true and false and fill in the blank questions make up more than half or not? How much, if you put the fill in the blank and the true false together, what did you end up with? True false were 40 of them were true false. How many were fill in the blank? 24. Okay, am I the only one doing this?
Nope.
So how many total was that? Is that 64? Is that more or less than half? More than half. And the last one we'll do together is the next question, which is number 8. Did true, false, and short answer make up more or less than half? Number 8, true and false was still 40. What was the other one?
Short answer 15.
Well, 15 for short answer, which gives you 55. Is that more or less than half? Less than. Alright, so here is what you will do. I'm going to give you those circles just like before. You are again. Let's go over those rules once again. Remember, you're going to share a circle, well, 2 circles with somebody, but you're going to cut all the pieces out. What do you do with those pieces? One of them gets glued on the fraction circle sheet. The others get put in your bag. And then you are going to answer the rest of the problems on page 190 through 191, but you will stop at 30. Why? Because you only have 30 blanks on your paper. How's that? Ain't that an easy thing to do? And some of them you don't have anything to write down. For example, 9 and 10 just say show that 4/8 equals 1/2. You really can't write that down. But you can write down answers for 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 27, 28, 29. Yeah, you can just look at 10 and 11. You don't have to write something down. Huh? 9 and 10, sorry. 9 and 10.
So 9 and 10 you don't have to write something down?